Good morning, children. Today we are going to start the part 6 of lesson 2. In this, we are going to discuss about work of glaciers, work of waves, and work of wind. And with this, we complete our lesson. Let us start the video. In very cold regions like the Himalayas or the Alps, it snows heavily. They get snowfall instead of rainfall. We know that because Himalayas are the northern boundary of our country, and we know that Himalayas are the snowy mountains. Every time there will be the snowfall. Like Himalayas, in Europe, there are some sort of mountains called as Alps, and there also it snows heavily like Himalayas itself. This is a form of precipitation. What is precipitation? It is one form of rainfall. Actually, we have a rain, and rain in other words will call as a precipitation. So this precipitation will be in the form of a snow in these mountains and completely covered with snow. Thus, snow accumulates and hardens into ice. This snow, after some period of time, it gets into a solidification state, it accumulates and hardens, and then it completely converts into ice. As it accumulates, it flows slowly down till it reaches warm area where the ice melts and a small river starts. So, example, take a mountain peak. On the top of the mountain peak, continuously there is a snowfall. And this snow, what it will happen? Just slowly it will be coming down to the foot of the mountain. And slowly this will be moving in a form of a river, a stream form. It will be moving. When it come to any of a warm area, then it starts melting. This slow moving of ice is called as glacier. A glacier erodes through a process called as plucking, and these glaciers are mainly we can see in these icy areas like Himalayas. In Himalayas also many glaciers are there, and example I am giving you Ganga river. This Ganga river has originated from a glacier called as Gangotri, and this is in Himalayas, like Siachen glacier. So all these are different types of glaciers what we have in Himalayas, and these glaciers are the main source of perennial rivers. Perennial rivers are nothing but the Himalayan rivers. Continuously, the water will be flowing in these rivers, and so they are called as perennial rivers. Throughout the year, even in summer season also, the water will be flowing in these rivers, because even in the summer season in glacier, the snow starts melting and it will be converting into water, and that water will be continually flowing in the river, and so they won't dry up even in the summer season also. And this glacier erodes through a process called as plucking. When the glacier is moving, that process is called as plucking. You can see in this picture, this is a glacier, and slowly the glacier starts melting and converting into ice. That is a form is called as plucking. You can see that how the mountains are there back, and this is a form of how the glacier came. The snow, it is coming as a river and it is converting into water. And in this picture you can see that U-shaped mountain valleys. Sorry, U-shaped valleys. The U-shaped valleys will be formed because of the glaciers. Actually, this plucking will be there now, and because of the plucking, the glacier creates a U-shaped valleys. How these valleys will be created? When the glaciers are flowing at that time, it brought some sort of sediments and dust particles along with it, and these dust particles, what it will make? It will make the mountains to erode. So the erosion process will be happening there, and because of that, U-shaped valleys will be formed. In the previous video, we discussed regarding the V-shaped valleys, and V-shaped valleys are formed because of water. The water cuts the mountain vertically and forms into V-shaped valleys. But here, because of the glaciers, the U-shaped valleys will be formed. So in this picture you can see the U-shaped valleys. And U-shaped valleys will be created by the glaciers. The glacier melts and brings all the sediments, small particles, pebbles, cobbles, sand, etc. All this debris will is known as till. The till, which cannot be carried by a glacier, is deposited at various parts of the glacier. So all the debris which is brought by the glacier is known as till. What it is called, children? Till. And this till which cannot be carried, only some part of the till will be carried by the glacier, and remaining part of the till which is very hard, which is very heavy, which is can't carried by the glacier, will be deposited at various parts of the glacier, and these depositions of this till is called moraines. What it is called, children? Moraines. Actually, the deposition of these debris is known as till, and the till will be carried by the glacier, but some part of the till which is can't take by the glacier will be deposited, so at various parts of the glacier, and that is only called as moraines. Now you can see the picture of moraines. So in this you can see that to the either side you can see the glacier flowing, and the remaining part of the sediments which are not carried by the glacier are deposited in the middle, and that is only called as moraines. And this moraine is very fertile because it have a lot of sediments, and the fertility will be there in that moraines, and this will very favorable for agriculture. But in these areas where plants can't grow in the icy areas because it is a permanently frozen soil, so we can't do any sort of agriculture there. So even though it have a lot of fertility, agriculture is not possible in these areas. Next one is work of waves. Up to now we have seen regarding the work of glaciers, and now we are going to see work of waves. Because of the waves also, different types of landforms will be formed. So the erosion and deposition by the sea waves gives rise to coastal landforms. As sea waves continuously strike at the rocks, cracks develop in them over time. Because of the continued moving of the water, these waves touch the landforms and the mountains will be completely eroded, and this gives a different other shapes. And gradually hollow-like caves are also formed on the rocks, and those are called as sea arches, stacks, sea cliff, cape and bay. So what are they called, children? Sea arches, stacks, sea cliff, cape and bay. Let us see them. So this is a sea arch. So how this will be formed? Because of the waves completely touching the rock, after some years passing, slowly this process will be happening. The waves erode the complete rocky part there, and such a type of shapes will be formed, and these are called as sea arches, and these are called stacks. So further, if the erosion breaks the roof and only walls are left, and these walls like features are called as stacks. Actually on the top both are connected with a sea arch, but continuously if the waves are touching that sea arch, what will happen? That also will be eroded, and only these walls like structures will be left over, and these are called as stacks. In the previous picture what we have seen, that is sea arch, and this is stack, and these are called sea cliffs. What are these sea cliffs? These are the steep rocky coast rising almost vertically above seawater, and it is called as a sea cliff. Slowly the land part will be rising up and forming into a some different type of landform, that is only called as a sea cliff. You can see in the picture completely it is touching to the sea water. So this is abruptly rising from the land, that is called as sea cliff, and this is called as a cape. What is a cape? A cape is headland cutting out into the sea. It is some part of land which is completely entering into the sea. It is cutting into the sea. Then it is called as a cape. Next one is bay. So you can see in this picture the bay. So completely it is the water is entering inside the land and again coming out. A bay is wide mouthed recess in the line of the coast. So to the coast completely it will be there. So we call in India we have Bay of Bengal. What is this Bay of Bengal? Completely the water is entering near to the West Bengal region and again it forming into a shape of a bay and coming out. So it is called as a bay. And the sea waves deposit sediments along the shores, and because of that only beaches will be formed. How the beaches are formed? All the sediments which are deposited by the sea waves to the coastline, then the beaches will be formed. So different types of beaches are there. Example, Vishakhapatnam itself, we have RK beach. So like this, different types of other beaches are also there. In Vishakhapatnam we have Marina Beach, VGP beach, and different other beaches also. Next we are going to discuss about work of wind. So work of glacier and work of waves is completed, and now we are going to start work of wind. Wind is a dominant agent in the hot deserts. So mostly 1/5 of the world's land is completely made up of deserts. In the complete part, 1/5 of the land is covered with desert, and here wind plays a very dominant role. So people who are living in the desert completely affected with the wind. Continuously there will be wind, even it is a summer or any of a season, because in any of a season it looks like summer only, but there will be a lot of differences in the temperature. Day and night temperatures will be completely different in desert areas. So strong winds will be blowing in these regions, and strong winds carry sand and fine soil which strike the large rocks. So these strong winds, they carry very fine sand particles with it. Because of these sand particles, these will erode the rocks. They will be flowing upon the large rocks, and these rocks will be eroded. Example I'll give you. Do you people have known about sandpaper? This sandpaper will be used for walls to remove the paint, and even for the wooden furnishings also we use the sandpaper to give the complete perfect finish. So like that only, these sand particles which are there in the wind will blowing upon to the rock, and because of these sand particles the top part of the rocks will be eroded. So when years are passing, it is a continuous process of wind blowing in that region, so the rocks will be eroded. So the wind action creates a number of interesting erosional and depositional features in the desert. Because of these winds, different types of landforms will be formed. What are those? Let us see in the pictures. This is mushroom rock. Why it is called as a mushroom rock? Because the shape itself is resembling like a mushroom only. Actually this is a big rock, but because of the wind and the sand particles in the wind has eroded the bottom part of the rock, and though those this complete structure was formed because of that itself. So this is called as a mushroom rock. So winds erode the lower section of the rocks more than the upper part. So therefore such rocks have narrower bottom and wider top. Next one. These mountains are called as Inselberg Mountains. What are these Inselberg Mountains? You can see actually this is a very big mountain, but because of the wind in the desert area, this such a type of rocks will be formed. And this is some type of mountains also. The isolated residual hills rising abruptly from the ground are called as Inselberg or island mountain. They are characterized by their very steep slopes and rather rounded tops. They have a very steep slopes and also rounded tops. They are isolated residual hills. See, they are not at all connected with any of our other mountains. It is isolated. Isolated means separated from the other part of the mountains. So this is called as a Inselberg mountain. Next, sand dunes. In deserts, we can see such a type of sand dunes. In mostly in movies, we can see this picture. So sand dunes. So mostly these will be seen in the desert areas, and because of the movement of the wind, these sand dunes will be moving from one place to another place. So these sand dunes will be creating different types of landforms, what we can see in this shape. So, due to the weathering and persistent wind action, there is a large accumulation of fine sand in many deserts, and these form the sand dunes. So because of the wind action, all the sand will be accumulated in one particular place, and these forms the sand dunes. The fine dust blown beyond the desert limit, which is yellow in color, is very fertile. So fine dust will be there on the top of the sand, and this is looks in yellow in color, and this is very fertile, and this soil is called as loess. What it is called, children? Loess. And the plains formed by the deposition of loess are called as loess plains. So when such a type of soil is deposited on the top layer of the any of a plain area, then it is called as a loess plains. So from the desert area, this sand, topmost yellow colors fertile sand, will be blowing into the different other plain areas also. And there it is very useful for the cultivation purpose and forms a very fertile soils. So with this we completed second lesson, children, the realms of the earth. And here is the assignment. I have given some objectives. Complete these objectives and forward me through WhatsApp. And next two classes you'll have a revision work, and the third class you'll have a online test. Meet you in next revision class. Thank you, children.